Everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to do my April in and out. So if you've not seen one of these videos, what I'm going to do is tell you everything that I'm hauling for the month as well as everything that I'm unhauling. And I am really trying to get my physical shelf down. My TBR on my physical shelf, it started the year at somewhere like 370, 380, and it's my goal to reduce that. And I don't think I said a specific number, but in my head, there's a goal of getting it under 300. However, I also really enjoy book shopping. So let's just get into it. We'll talk about the unhauls first because it's a smaller pile and go from there. So all these books are ones that I've either read or tried to read, and they're just not for me. So they'll be on my Pango bookstore as they always are. It's linked down below. If you want me to send you these books, by golly, they're all yours. So we've got Submerged and Shattered, which are books 1 and 2 in a romantic suspense series by Danny Petrie. These are Christian fiction books about a girl who goes back to like her hometown where she swears she would never go back, but her aunt has been killed and she gets kind of roped into trying to figure out what happened and to solve some of these cases. And so she is working with a deep sea diver, and it's a romance. I started to read this first one, just didn't really get into it, and so I'm letting these go. A lot of people love these. I just didn't. I actually listened to the audio, so these are both unread, pretty great copies, but just not for me. I can't hold on to them just for that reason, I'm telling myself. Then we have The Dog Who Danced by Susan Wilson. So this is about a woman who is having a hard time. She has to go across the country to see her dad because her dad is sick. And so she has this dog who has been with her through everything. And the dog is really all she's got. She's got a terrible job. She doesn't have enough money. So she has to ride with this trucker across the country to go see her dad. And the long story short, the trucker says, you got 5 minutes in the rest stop, go. And she kind of calls his bluff. And so he takes off with the dog. And so it's her trying to find her dog as well as the people who do find their dog, the dog. And all of those people kind of coming together. This sounds like something that would be really emotional, really heart-wrenching, really great. And it was to an extent, but for me, this was just a 3-star read. Then we have Luck of the Titanic by Stacey Lee. So this is another one that's in pristine condition because I listened to the audio, and this is about 2 teenage siblings who both end up on the Titanic. They are Chinese going from London, obviously, or from the UK, and they are trying to get in a circus act, basically. There's a lot of drama between the siblings. There's a little bit of romance, but this was just boring. I buddy read this with Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and I don't think she loved it either. So this was boring for me, and the end gave such strong Titanic vibes. It was really interesting to see who survived, who didn't, all that kind of stuff. But the first 2/3, not worth it. Then Left Behind by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins. So this is a copy that I got, and I resisted. I bought this book at Half Price Books, clearly. And I then saw, for the next couple weeks, I saw these books everywhere. And so I was so tempted to buy multiple in the series, but I thought, I'm not going to. I'm going to read the first one since I'm seeing them everywhere. Clearly, I'll be able to find them later. And so I started this first one, and this is about a world in which the rapture has come. Jesus has come back, and these are about the people that are left behind. It was really interesting at first, but it just got slow and redundant and repetitive, and theology, I don't know how great it is. I didn't read a ton of this, so yeah, I'm going to let this one go, and good, because then I don't have to read the rest of the trilogy, or not trilogy, the multi-book series. Then we have The Inn at Ocean's Edge. This is the first in the Sunset Cove series by Colleen Coble. I think it's actually Colleen. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say her name. Colleen Coble. And this, I don't like her as an author. I don't know her personally. I don't know anything about her personally, but her writing is not for me generally. And this one was no different. I didn't love it. So on to the next owner. And then we have The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. So this is a allegory kind of parable about somebody finding kind of their purpose in life, and it was fine. Just not for me at this stage of life, really. So there we go. And then last is The 13th Tale. This is another one that I tried to buddy read, and I DNF'd it. And I think the other 2 people that I was buddy reading with are still trying to read it because it's just a brick. It's deckled edges. I don't like it, and I just wasn't interested in it. So Again, another really great copy. This was given to me by somebody who was moving, and so they are like they are someone who has pristine books, and they're moving, didn't want to keep this one, so they gave it to my mom, who then gave it to me, and nobody has actually read this physical copy, and it's really pretty. So if you're interested in this book, this is a great copy, just not one that I'm going to read. So those are all the unhauls. Now I'm going to talk about the middle grade books that I'm hauling and then the adult books. So hang tight. So most of these books are either from Little Free Libraries or our Friends of the Library bookstore, where everything is $1. And we just love to go in there for a little serotonin boost every once in a while. So we have Flat Stanley's Worldwide Adventures. This is the U.S. Capitol Commotion. So we are kind of collecting these, have yet to read any of them, but I like Flat Stanley, the picture book, and we have a lot of Flat Stanleys, so there's that. Then we've got Princess in Black, Mermaid Princess. My girls really like these. These are kind of, you know, I don't know, they're like that cross between picture books and they're chapters, but there's a lot of really brightly colored pictures, and yeah, my kids really like these. It's by Shannon and Dean Hill, so they've written a lot of different graphic novels, and yeah, they like this series. Then we have Cam Jensen and the Mystery of the Television Dog. Again, these are pretty early chapter books. They're not super long. They're like 50, 60 pages, and we collect these, so there's that. Then we have Next Stop, New York City, the Polk Street Kids on Tour. So we have not read much of the Polk Street series, but anything that talks about geography or anything like that, I'm kind of collecting for homeschool stuff. So there's that. And then a Christmas book, because why not? The Dog Who Thought He Was Santa. How cute is that? And then According to Aggie, this is an American Girl kind of spin-off books, and it's a graphic novel. My kids love graphic novels, and so anytime I find them for free or cheap, I will pick them up. Then last is a series that my mom is one of those people who, like, Facebook marketers, they see her coming, and she sends me stuff a lot that is really interesting. And this one is one of those things that I think this is going to be really fun. So it is a 5-book series called The Math Inspectors, and so it's about different cases where kids are trying to solve cases using math. So Case of the Christmas Caper, Hamilton Roller Coaster, and The Forgotten Mind. So we haven't tried these yet, but I think they're going to be really fun. It says for ages 9 to 12. So I'm not sure, like, just glancing through, there's some discussion of like fractions and stuff, but I don't think like there's anything that the kids have to solve, like the reader kids, but I don't know. I'm really interested. So we're you guys know we're in the middle of binging Nancy Drew Clue Crew, but as soon as we're done with that, we're ready to like reopen the possibilities. So that's my middle grade haul. Now let's get into the biggest and most daunting stack of hauls. Okay, sorry for the slight angle change, but so I have separated these into where I got them. So this first stack, like I said, is the Friends of the Library bookstore, where everything's $1 except for hardcovers are $2. But it just gets me. And every time we go to the library, we pop in there. And so we have Just One of the Guys by Kristen Higgins. I had this on my like want to read list and on one that I'm looking for. So is this one a part of a series? I'm not sure. But I love Kristen Higgins. She writes a good mix of like women's fiction romance. This says journalist Chastity O'Neill returns to her hometown, and she decides it's time to start working on some of those feminine wiles. 2 tiny problems. 1, she's 5'11" inches of rock solid girl power, and 2, she's cursed with 4 alpha male older brothers. While doing a story on local heroes, she meets a hunky doctor and things start to look up. Now there's only one problem. Trevor, her first love, and the man she's never quite gotten over, although he seems to have gotten over her just fine. Yet the more time she spends with Dr. Perfect, the better Trevor looks. But even with the in-your-face competition, the irresistible Trevor just can't seem to see Chastity as anything more than just one of the guys. So that sounds cute. I love her. Like I said, she's a favorite author, so I will always grab her stuff, especially for $1. So next we have A Little Ray of Sunshine. So it says an ode to mother love in all its many forms and families lost and found. So I'm assuming this one is more romance, and this one is more women's fiction. So this is a kid walks into your bookstore, and guess what? He's your son. The one you put up for adoption 18 years ago. The one you never told anyone about. Surprise! And so that's all I need to know. Then, you guys, the Too Late by Colleen Hoover. This is a well-loved book. And it's one of the only Colleen Hoovers I think I've never read. I am pretty sure I've never read this. And so I love her, you guys. I know it's controversial, but I love her, so sorry. Then we have Lying Next to Me by Greg Olson. So this is a thriller. It says, no matter what you see, no matter what you've heard, assume nothing. Adam and Sophie and their 3-year-old daughter are vacationing in Washington State's Hood Canal for Memorial Day weekend. Good time to read it in May, huh? It's the perfect getaway to unplug and to calm an uneasy marriage. But on Adam's first day out of the water, he sees Sophie abducted by a stranger. 100 yards away from shore, he can't seem to save her, and Sophie disappears. And so then in a nearby cabin's another couple. Unfortunately, beyond what they've heard in the news, they're in the dark when it comes to Sophie's disappearance. For Adam, at least there is comfort in knowing that Mason County Detective Lee Hussman is an old friend of his. She'll do everything she can to help. She must. And then as his paranoia about his missing wife escalates, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read any more because I feel like sometimes they just say too much. But I've heard great things about Greg Olson. I'm not sure that I've ever read him, but there's that. And then The Girl Who Chased the Moon by Sarah Addison Allen. Truthfully, I picked this up because it's Sarah Addison Allen, and I really like her. She does... I would call it magical realism. It's a tiny touch of magic usually. And this one is about, let's see. She invites you to a quirky little southern town with more magic than a full Carolina moon. Here, 2 very different women discover how to find their place in the world, no matter how out of place they feel. Emily came to this town hoping to solve at least some of the riddles surrounding her mother's life, such as why did Dolce Shelby leave her hometown so suddenly? Why, blah, 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 blah. So here, rooms, the wallpaper changes to suit your mood. Goodness, I'm having a hard time reading. Unexplained lights skip across the yard at midnight, and a neighbor bakes hope in the form of cakes. So, I don't know. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be a little bit foodie. It's going to be fun. Then we have Jennifer Weiner, The Breakaway. I love Jennifer Weiner. I've read almost everything from her. So this is an empowering new novel about love, family, friendship, secrets, and a life-changing journey. So it's about a 33-year-old who is in a happy place. She still has gig jobs instead of a career, in the apartment where she's lived since college still looks like she's just moved in, but she's got good friends, her bike, and her biking club in Philadelphia. So this book, I think Jennifer Weiner herself is very into biking, and so she's at peace with her plus-size body, at least most of the time, and she's on track to marry Mark, her childhood summer sweetheart, a man she met at the weight loss camp that her perpetually dieting mother forced her to attend. 15 years after her final summer camp, when Abby reconnects with a half his size Mark, it feels like the happy ending she's always wanted, but something isn't right, la da 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 da. So I'm not sure how the weight stuff is going to be dealt with, but I'm going to give it a shot. So now we've got Little Free Library Finds. So Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. I don't know if I'm going to like this. Truthfully, it's for a very big book, and I've heard Karen Slaughter gets really gritty. So I don't know. I grabbed this thinking I'm going to try it, and then I may just send it back to the Little Free Library where I got it. But we'll see. Then The Beach House by Sally John. So this is why I love Little Free Libraries, is because you find stuff like this that you would never ever find. It's part of the Beach House series, and it's a Christian fiction. It says, when 4 women reunite to celebrate their 40th birthdays in San Diego, past meets present and the future's changed forever. That is literally all I need to know. And it's got really short chapters, and like I said, it's Christian fiction. It says, a book full of God's faithfulness. The Beach House warmly portrays the love, comfort, and honesty and support friendship can offer women in the face of vulnerability, loss, change, and self-discovery. Love it. Then the last one from the Little Free Library, I think, is Love, Life, and Lucille. Lessons learned from a centenarian. I don't know how to say that. The forewords by Suzanne Summers, and this is by Judy Gammon. So this is, she was busy making a name for herself that she barely took the time to meet a stranger, enjoy life, or simply stop to breathe. Immersed in her job, a job that required her to write health and wellness books and host a nationally syndicated radio show, she spent every day going full speed ahead until she met Lucille Fleming. While writing a book on longevity, she interviewed Lucille, an elegant and spirited woman who had just recently turned 100. What began as a quick meeting became a lasting friendship that transformed into inseparable bond. Lucille brought incredible wisdom and stories to the table, while Judy provided an avenue for excitement and new opportunities. Together, they began living life to the fullest. And so, oh, there's something in here. Look at this. Oh, poor thing. I hope nobody's looking for this. And I wish my name started with K, but it does not. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming these are kind of just like short stories maybe about life lessons. But I have really been liking the books that like The Extraordinary Death of Mrs. Kipp. I really like that book, and just kind of these like older woman, younger women mentorship as one is nearing the end of their life. And that reminder to like stop and smell the roses. So there's that. Now let's talk about my book of the month picks. So I have been skipping book of the month quite a bit lately. Truthfully, I just have not been loving them. Not been loving the picks, but I've wanted this book for so long that I thought as soon as there's one that I'm interested in, I'm going to add this on. So we finally got it. The Frozen River by Ariel Lahan. So if you have not seen what this book is about, it is based on the story. It's a fictionalized version of a real midwife in 1789. And Martha Ballard is her name. And it is her story. I don't want to explain more than that because everything I've heard is secondhand, and I want to just go into this blind. Truthfully, I'm not sure, like, one, it's spring now, and so I don't know if this is the best time to read this, but two, I have yet to hear a bad word about this book, and I don't know if that's the right time for me to read it, truthfully, because then I don't want to be the one naysayer, and I don't want to have these astronomically high expectations and read it and not like it because of my expectations. So this is one of those books that I really wanted it, and it might sit on my shelf a while, but I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. I want to be convinced to read it, but I also want to save it for like once the hype has died down, once it's kind of left my mind. I don't know. We'll see. But the book that I got in order to get that is one that I'm genuinely excited about too. And it's Jennifer Weiner's The Griffin Sisters Greatest Hits. So I know this is like an early 2000s sisters who are pop stars. I think sisters were born just a year apart, couldn't have been more different. It's in the early 2000s when they were on the brink of adulthood. Destiny intervened, catapulting them into the spotlight as pop sensation, the Griffin Sisters. So they're on SNL, MTV, TRL. I wish it was listed. But now a whirlwind year in the public eye, and the band broke up. And then it's 2 decades later. So I am really excited to read this. Really, really excited to read this. And this one, I haven't heard anybody talk about this one, so I'll probably read this one soon. So then the last batch is ones that I actually got yesterday. So I'm filming this on Sunday, April 27th, and I thought this was going to be the end of my haul. However, yesterday, my daughter had a softball game at noon, and it was over, I don't know, we got home sometime after 1:30. And my kids think when they eat an early dinner, early lunch, any of that kind of thing, because all of her games are right at dinner time or right at lunchtime. Actually, this is the only lunchtime one. The rest are all right at dinner time. And so I'll make an early dinner or an early lunch in this case. And then everybody thinks they need to eat again when they get home because it's like a rushed lunch or so. I don't know what. But so we came home. I made food for everybody else. The baby needed to eat. La da 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 da. And so then, everybody went down for naps, and me and the baby went to the library to drop off our books, pick up the ones that were waiting for us. And I thought, there's that Friends of the Library bookstore in there. And I thought, should I go in? And I thought, I'm not going to because I don't need more books. And my husband needs to go in there and find some books for gifts. And so I was like, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I drove away feeling like I needed to call somebody and tell them and get a little pat on the back. And so I'm driving home. And then the spot where I was supposed to turn to go home, my car didn't want to turn. It wanted to go straight, and going straight leads to half price books. So I went to Half Price Books and the baby was asleep. I was like, if I go home, I'm going to get her out of the car and she's going to wake back up. So I'm not going to be able to do anything productive. So let's just take advantage of her being asleep and let's go into Half Price Books. So I did. And I don't even mess around with the shelves at Half Price Books. I beeline to the clearance section and I went back there because everything is like $3 to $5. And even that feels a little pricey for me. Storm from Storm Reads, I don't know if she's watching this or not, but she is a fellow cheapskate, for lack of a better word. And I just love her videos because she talks about like paying $3 or $6 or $5 or whatever dollars for a book is kind of a lot. And I cannot relate more. So I went in there, made a stack of books that I wanted, and then I pared it down. And I am so proud of myself. I had a stack of, I don't know, 6, 8 books, something like that. And I only brought home 3. So let's talk about the 3 that made the cut. So I made the stack and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just put these all back because again, I don't need books. My birthday is coming up, so I might get books and I just don't need it. So I almost put the entire stack away. And then I saw this book and I thought, well, I'm going to buy this book. And if I'm going to go to the checkout, I might as well get a couple more. So Pearl in the Sand by Tessa Afshar. So I recently read a different book by Tessa Afshar, and I'm on the fence about how much I love her. And so this is the Pearl in the Sand, and it is Rahab's story. And so we'll see. This is biblical fiction, and that is a genre that I've really been liking. I can't read it solidly, but having one a month or something is something I've really been enjoying. So we're going to try this and see. I read The Queen's Cook. I started The Queen's Cook and didn't like it. So I'm on the fence about Tessa Afshar. I've heard nothing but good things, so I'm going to try it. And then we have 2 more. What I Left Behind by Jennifer Archer. So this is a women's fiction about a girl who was forced to give up her baby at age 16. And then the father disappeared and whatever, he was her first love. And he took off not knowing she was pregnant. And then now 3 decades later, she's never married, never had another child. She's engaged to a man she adores. In the popular restaurant she owns as her heart and soul, but Allie sees the baby she gave up long ago and a very young woman with red hair she meets. Did she do the right thing for her daughter? Was the girl's childhood happy? Is she happy now? Allie wonders, too, what her own life would have been like if he wouldn't have left. Would they have raised their child together, et cetera, et cetera. So now it takes an unexpected turn when 16-year-old Nick Pearson shows up on her doorstep claiming to be her grandson and needing her help. So kind of similar trope to another book that I'm hauling here, but again, one I'm really excited for. This also has really high ratings on Goodreads. And then last is one that I'm feeling a little buyer's remorse or whatever, because I paid $5. It's a hardback, and it is Murder Road by Simone St. James. So Simone St. James is a thriller author that I am kind of on the fence about as well. She often has some sort of like paranormal twist in her books, or paranormal element at least. And I've read Broken Girls, and I liked it. Didn't love it, and I don't think I've read any more from her. So this one is July of 1995. A couple is driving down the road, I think, and they see a hitchhiker. And they stop to help, but not long after the woman gets in their car, they see the blood seeping from her jacket, and then she dies, and they're involved in the case. So I have not heard great things about this one, but I really want to try it. And I didn't buy it on Book of the Month, so that's good, because it would have been at least $11. So $5 is doable. So that is my haul. If you can hear, my kids are starting to go a little crazy in the background, so it's good timing to be done. So that's everything that I'm hauling for the month. I don't know my total TBR, if it's gone up or down in the month of April. I will let you know in my monthly stats and standouts, because I'm waiting. I've still got time. I've got time to read a couple more off my shelf and get that number a little lower. So stay tuned for that video to see if my number has gone up or down. But I can tell you I'm hauling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm unhauling 12, 13, 14. I had these in the wrong stack. So I'm hauling 14 and unhauling 3, 6. So it's not looking good, but we'll see. I've read some off my shelf this month, so we'll see. Oh no, hold on, I forgot one book. So actually I got this from the not the Little Free Library, the Friends of the Library Bookstore, and I've already read this one. So this is Sandwich by Catherine Newman. It's about a woman who is in the sandwich generation. She's got adult children and aging parents, and it's they're on their annual like summer vacation. And there's things that bring up the past, things that make us think about the future. There's a lot of discussion of gender identity, sexuality, miscarriage, abortion, all that kind of stuff. It was really heavy, but really good. And I really like the characters. It is only like 260 maybe pages. And I wish it would have been longer. I wish it would have been longer. This was a 4-star for me. Could have been a 5-star if it was maybe 50 or 100 pages longer. So I hauled this one, but I already read it. So it doesn't count. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. So, that is everything. Now I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.